let's set the tone here because I'm going to tell you guys exactly how easy it is to get smuggled across the border and to buy an illegal firearm. Now, for YouTube purposes, this is not a tutorial. This is journalism in its truest form. Now, obviously, when I was doing this, the individuals that I was speaking with had no idea that I was a journalist. I think I have to give that context just because in this case, they did not know they were taking part in this story. They thought that I was actually a buyer of arms and wanting to get across the border. In North America, the borders and the gun laws are literally leaking at the seams. So I wanted to find out just how easy it is to exploit both of these things. Come to find out, it's really easy. First things first, there are multiple legitimate, and I know it sounds crazy to believe, legitimate Instagram pages that are, of course, WhatsApp pages too, but I think Instagram is just like so blatantly out there because it's on social media that was just so much more shocking to me. There are these Instagram pages that literally market illegal border crossing and straw buying. So like they're selling guns, they're willing to take you across the border. These pages are literally called like USA to Canada, Canada to US, Mexico to Canada, Mexico to US, like whatever it is that you're looking for, you go on there and there's testimonies from people. A lot of the pages I found, it's like people from Asia, so like India, Nepal, and then also Latin America that are, once they're across the border, they're like posing with their faces covered, semi-covered for these smugglers to post on their Instagram page being like, thank you so much, US to Canada, I made it. Or like it's typically the other way around just because of Canada's lax visa requirements. Now, it's also important to keep in mind that when I was doing this investigation, a lot of people were crossing into the US from Canada because they were able to get into Canada without certain requirements that the US has, and then illegally cross through this, over 5,000 mile long unprotected border region into the US. And this is happening typically from the East Coast. So people are getting picked up in Montreal and driven into New York, Vermont, wherever it is. And there's like a drop-off spot. And essentially what I was told over the call by like, I spoke to 3 smugglers. One of them was very explicit. Like he really laid it out for me. Another one was a little confusing in terms of how much he wanted, how he wanted payment. Like, did you want cash? They were like, you could literally pay cash, Zelle, or like remittance, like go to Moneymart or whatever, or crypto. So there was like a lot of ways to pay. Obviously, I just kept saying cash, cash, cash. And then the third guy I spoke to, not in this particular order, was kind of on to me. And he was like, don't ever call me again. Because I asked him how much extra I would have to pay if I wanted to take a bag with me. So I was like, obviously, again, posing as someone who wanted to get smuggled across the border. And when I asked him, can I take a bag across with me? He said, well, what's in the bag? And I said, bad things. And he said, no. And then got freaked out. But the other 2 were like totally fine with it. So let me tell you exactly how this is working, what the cost is, and how it goes down. All right. First things first. This is how we start this operation. So I found these pages. Actually, a law enforcement source sent me these pages saying, hey, Katarina, these are legitimate pages of people smuggling people into the United States from Canada because the southern border has been pretty secured lately to the point where they've had to kind of like move operations and there's way more demand for this at the northern border. You should look into it because Canadian law enforcement is not looking into it because they're strapped for resources. This is word for word what I was told by someone in Canadian law enforcement. Absolutely insane. The fact that there were public Instagram accounts advertising illegal border crossings with like explicit usernames, handles, and yet Canadian law enforcement is like, oh, caught too much on our plate, you know? This is such an easy investigation. Man, I was able to conduct this investigation, okay? And I'm not a cop. Like, actually pretty far from it. Well, I shouldn't say that, but you know what I mean. Okay, so I'm a journalist. You find these Instagram pages. I was sent some of them that were legitimate. There's phone numbers that are constantly changing attached to this Instagram page. So like there will be a phone number in the bio, but then there's also on the video testimonies that are being posted of people who have been crossed, there's different phone numbers because obviously these guys have to like keep switching numbers and phones. So called a phone number, some of them didn't work, and then finally like once I would hit it, I spoke to a smuggler, typically of South Asian descent. First things first, I obviously could not identify myself. And I just said, I'm looking to go to the US. I'm not Canadian. I have troubles with my passport. When can I cross?
Alright. You have to pay like cash or Zelle, but around 2,500 to 3,000. Yeah, you have to walk 20 minutes.
I literally could have crossed that same day that I called. Keep in mind, I called around 1 p.m. in the afternoon. It's like Uber Eats for human smuggling. I call, I'm like, I want to cross. They're like, send us your location. We can come pick you up right now, drive you to the meeting point. You get in with all the other people into the car with all the other people that want to be smuggled. They drive you to the northern border where then they tell you, okay, now you have to walk. It's typically around like a 20 to 45-minute walk through trees and fields. Okay, so it's like unmonitored. And I asked that in the call, like, what does the walk look like?
Like it's like some fields and some little bit treeable land, like a trees.
You know, is this like a really treacherous terrain? How do I walk through this? He's like, it's trees and fields. You're fine. One of the smugglers told me it's a 20-minute walk. Another smuggler told me it's a 45-minute walk. Either they were like someone was lying or they just have different routes, one of them being more treacherous than the other. So you have to walk through this area. Once you get to the other side, there's a vehicle waiting for you that picks you up and drives you to a meeting point.
So you have to send me your location. So my person will pick you from Montreal, and there is 3 more people like you that they want to go United States. They will meet you together, 3 or 4 people, and you have to walk together, 3 or 4 people for crossing the border.
Often these meeting points are because these people are like the smugglers are of South Asian descent. They kept telling me the same thing, which is then we'll drive you to a Sikh temple in New York, where then you have to figure out where you're going from there. But that's also where you give payment. And they kept telling me over the phone, do not give money to anyone else that asks you along the way or whatever it is. Just have the money ready to give payment once you're on the other side.
I will send you in United States, then I will take your money.
Which, you know what, I thought was, side note, but I think that's a really good business model because it's like you pay once you are at your destination, you know? It's like, okay, if all goes to shit, which I asked, I'm like, is it safe? What if law enforcement comes? And they're like,
if there is police, I will tell you to stop there. So we have to do next day, okay?
We will know if law enforcement is coming and you have to turn around and then we will cross you the following day. And I asked, like, do I get charged again? No. It's you pay once you achieve your desired result, which is ending up in the United States of America. I mean, to be honest, like that's a great business model. I trust them. It's like you pay for what you're getting. So how much, right? First guy I spoke to who got freaked out about me wanting to bring drugs across. That's journalistic purposes again for, whatever. I wasn't actually going to bring drugs across the border. I'm just curious how that would have worked.